Welcome, dear students. Let me introduce myself once again. I am Santosh Kumar Jain from Department of Commerce, and I take this privilege to explain you the most important chapter, that is accounts of non-trading concern. Non-trading concerns, they are also called as not-for-profit organizations. So today, in this session, we are going to learn about what do we mean by non-trading concerns and how do they maintain their accounts. To start with, dear students, last year when we studied the first chapter in commerce, there we saw the classification of activities, and there we came across an activity which was called as non-economic activity. And there the focus was that the activity which is done with the service motive was called as non-economic activity. So with that intention only, there are some organizations which are set up in the society which aim to render the services rather than earning profits. Such kind of organizations which are established for service, for rendering service, are called as not-for-profit organizations, or they are called as non-trading concerns. Now, if we start with, we'll see the important theories first. That is like the meaning of non-trading concern. If you see the meaning of non-trading concern, here the focus is on rendering the services. That is, any organization which is started with an intention to render the service to the society, not to earn the profits, are called as not-for-profit organization, or you can call them as non-trading concerns. Now, what are the examples of these non-trading concerns? We have the institutions like schools, charitable hospitals, literary societies which are promoting for the sports, arts, clubs, home forage are the best examples I can say. Now a doubt comes, sir, like what are the examples of the societies which are promoting sports? Then we can take the Gymkhana, YMCA, which are promoting the sports. Like that, we have literary societies like libraries and all. Similarly, we have the clubs. Club here doesn't mean the club where we go and play the cards and all. Here the club is something which is aiming at rendering the services, promoting the art and culture. They all come under the category called non-trading concern. Then moving towards the purpose. Why these organizations are necessary? What is the basic purpose of these organizations? That is objective. Then the main objective is they want to promote the social, educational, religious activities. And apart from that, they also provide services to the members who are the members of that particular society. Let me give an example here. As I was talking about an active like promoting of sports. For example, let me say we have YMCA. If you go to YMCA, there we see that to start the YMCA, we need some members. And those members, they are basically from the sports background. So they try to give service to those people along with the outsiders also. That is the main purpose of the non-trading concern. In the similar manner, like we have charitable hospitals. Say for example, in Hyderabad, we have the charitable hospital called like Mahavir Hospital. It doesn't mean that only the Jains are getting the services there. Even the people who are not the members of that hospital, who doesn't belong to that particular community, are also getting the services. Like that, we have the concept of non-trading concern. So in one nutshell, we can say that these organizations are mainly to promote the welfare. They are mainly to promote the welfare. Like that, Here we have the basic theory which you can expect for 2 marks, like explain the meaning of non-trading concern. Then you can write this particular answer. Sometimes they may ask you the examples, you can write the examples. Even similarly, the objectives, you can write the objectives. Then coming towards the features. What are the characteristics of non-trading concern? This particular features are the most important aspect of non-trading concern, I can say, especially from the point of view of solving the problems, because in the coming sessions we are going to do the solutions. So if you want to do the solutions perfectly, we have to know the features of the non-trading concern. So the first feature is entity. Entity in the sense it is an organization which is promoted by individuals or enterprise. Individual in the sense he can be a person who can have his own organization called non-trading concern, and sometimes even the enterprise, like in the social objectives of business we see that the business they promote even the charitable hospitals, schools and all. That is the first feature, that it is promoted by individuals or enterprise. Then the second feature is that they are established for welfare and service of the society, as well as that is for the society and the members. Then how they are set up. Their form is in the form of charitable societies, trust, club, etc., which aims at rendering social, educational, religious services. That is the form we can say, that is the shape you can say of non-trading concern. And the most important feature is how it is managed. Then these organizations are managed by group of elected people. That is, among the members only, we are going to elect few members who are acting like trustees. We call them as trustees or we call them as elected members. And then to run the organization, whether it is a economic activity or non-economic activity, if you want to run the business, if you want to run a non-trading concern, the most important part is fund, in the sense money. So generally these organizations are funded with the help of the contributions called donations. Please do keep in mind donations, in the sense these organizations they collect money from the members, from the outsiders, from the people who are called as donors, and they contribute their money for the good cause which we call as donations. This is the major source for the fund of the non-trading concern. All the activities are based because of the contributions and the donations. Then how do they prepare the account? The most important I can say is how they maintain the accounts. Then their account, it comprises of receipts and payments account. First thing, they prepare receipts and payments account, and they prepare the second one is called income and expenditure account along with a balance sheet. So altogether we can say they prepare their accounts in 3 parts, that is 2 accounts and 1 statement. Among the accounts we have the receipts and payments account, income and expenditure account, and the statement is balance sheet. Now here the first model we are going to learn is how to prepare the receipts and payments account, which I am going to explain in the upcoming session. And then the income and expenditure account. This income and expenditure account is going to be the 10 marks question for your final exam. Then the motive. You all know the motive is not to earn the profit. Then what is the motive? The motive is to render the services. They don't want to earn the profits. Then a doubt comes, without profit, how they are able to run the show. They may earn the profits, they may get the profits, but the purpose is not to earn the profits. Maybe little amount of profit they may earn, but that profit also they are going to use for any good cause only. So here we have the features: entity, service, form, management, funding, and accounts. And the profit, the motive, that is no profit motive. Then moving towards other important concepts what we are going to cover. Now, in order to learn the non-trading concern in detail, we need to know few concepts. And what are those concepts? The concepts what you are supposed to know is first about the receipts and then about expenditure. First, you should know about receipts and expenditure. Now, these receipts, we classify them into revenue receipts and capital receipts. In the similar manner, expenditure, we have capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. So first we are going to cover about receipts and expenditure, and then we have few specific items. They are called peculiar items which need separate treatment that we are going to learn. And this you can learn and understand only once we cover about the concept of revenue receipt, revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, capital receipts. So now moving towards the concepts. So here comes the first concept called capital expenditure. These all are going to be 2 marks questions, dear. So please do focus on these questions as well as, no doubt, it may come for 2 marks, but simultaneously they are important. So what do we mean by capital expenditure? Capital expenditure is an expenditure which is incurred for once, which we incur for once, and the benefit of which is spread for many years, I can say. In the sense, the benefit is not expired in 1 year. In 1 year, it continues for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or it may go for a long period of time. Such expenditure which we incur are called capital expenditure. That is, in one single word, if we want to say, we can say that the expenditure which is incurred or which is related with acquisition, in the sense purchase of asset. Focus on the word purchase of asset is called capital expenditure. And all the capital expenditures, they become asset. They form asset, they constitute asset. So what you can say, capital expenditure is the expenditure which is incurred for purchase of assets which are used for activities. All capital expenditures, they constitute assets. Now, what are the examples? Like software we have, building we have, land we have, computer, machine, all these are called the examples of capital expenditure. That is the money spent for purchasing the asset, acquiring the asset is called capital expenditure. All capital expenditures, they form asset. So we'll show them in the balance sheet. Then comes revenue expenditure. What do we mean by revenue expenditure? Revenue expenditure is that expenditure which we incur and the benefit is only related to that particular year. The benefit of that particular expense is only for that particular year. In the sense, say for example, like you are paying salary. Every month you have to pay salary. Every year you have to pay salary. Like that we have rent. Like that we have honorarium, sports material which we are going to use. Like that there are so many expenses. In other words, you can keep in mind for better understanding all the expenditure which is incurred for day-to-day activities. Day-to-day activities are called revenue expenditure. Okay, we can call them as those expenses which are incurred for meeting day-to-day activities can be called as revenue expenditure. And all the revenue expenditures, they constitute expenditure. Already I told you in accounts, we have income and expenditure account. So there we are going to treat them as expenditure. And being an expenditure, that is nominal account, we are going to show at debit side of income and expenditure account. Okay. So what are the examples? Like salary, rent, honorarium, sports material, advertisement, traveling expense, they all come under the category called revenue expenditure. Having the deep knowledge of this classification of expense and receipts is very important. So capital expenditure, revenue expenditure. As I told you, the amount spent for purchasing the assets are called capital expenditure. Benefit of that capital expenditure, it is for long period. It is not only for one accounting period, it goes for many accounting periods. And all capital expenditure, they constitute asset. Then revenue expenditure. What is revenue expenditure? The expense which we incur for day-to-day activities, or you can say the amount whose benefit is only for one accounting period is called revenue expenditure. Like salary, rent, honorarium, sports material, traveling expense, advertisement, newspaper, they all come under revenue expenditure. And all these revenue expenditures, they constitute expenditure we call, and thereby later we'll show them in the income and expenditure account debit side. Then comes the next concept called capital receipt. Receipt in the sense the amount what we are going to get. Here when I say amount what we are going to get, here I am talking about non-trading concern. So any amount which is received by a non-trading concern, for which purpose? Specific purpose. For a specific purpose from the donor is called receipt. Which receipt? Capital receipt. There is a purpose of it, and that receipt is collected only for one time. It is collected for one time. Like we have the examples here, life membership fee. All these terms I am going to explain in detail. Life membership fees. Then we have donation for ground. Like that we have corpus fund, tournament fund, etc. They all come under the category called capital receipt. And all the capital receipts, they become liability. Focus on this. All capital receipts, they become liabilities. So what are capital receipts? The amount or those receipts which are received for a specific purpose from the donor, like life membership fee you can call, donation for ground you can take, corpus fund is there, tournament fund is there. Like that we have legacy. All these, they are called capital receipts and they form liabilities. Then comes revenue receipts. What are revenue receipts again now? When I say revenue in the sense which are generated as a part of the business activity. So here, when any income, please focus on the word income. So when any income is received by a non-trading concern out of the activities what they are carrying, they are called revenue receipts. They are recurring in nature. Again and again we are going to receive them from the person. Like we have subscription. We have rent received. We have locker rent. Like that we have general donation. Like that we have interest on investment. All these, it comes under the category called revenue receipt. And these revenue receipts, we are going to show them on the credit side of income and expenditure account because they are income. So now we have four major concepts with us. First one is capital expenditure. Second one is your revenue expenditure, capital receipt and revenue receipt. Most important part, once again I am revising with you all. Please concentrate and listen. Capital expenditure, in one word, that is in one single word, if we want to say amount spent for purchasing the assets. All the amount what we spend for acquiring the asset is called capital expenditure. So all capital expenditures, they constitute assets. Second thing is your revenue expenditure. The amount spent for day-to-day activities is called revenue expenditure, like salary, rent, advertisement, traveling. All revenue expenditure, we are going to show them on income and expenditure account debit side. Then third comes capital receipt. Those receipts which a firm or an concern gets from the donors for specific purpose or from any member for specific purpose, like your life membership fee, like your donation, specific donation, like legacy. They all are capital receipts which are liabilities, and revenue receipts are those which are generated as a course of business activity, like subscription, locker rent, interest on investment, and all these we are going to show on the credit side of income and expenditure account. A person who knows these four concepts perfectly can do the accounts of non-trading concern in a very systematic and very easy manner. Now moving towards the next concept, as I told you, we have treatment for specific items. Okay, these are the peculiar items I can call which we are going to learn. Like what do we mean by entrance fee, life membership fee, legacy, donation, subscription, endowment fund, honorarium. These items, they need a separate treatment, okay, based on the circumstance, based on the situation. These are the items which have their own treatment. That is, according to the bylaws of the non-trading concern, okay, according to the bylaws of the non-trading concern, we are going to give the treatment for these items. So we are going to learn each item in detail. So first item, entrance fee. It is also called as admission fee. It is called as admission fee. Entrance fees or admission fee are one and the same, and it is the amount which is to be paid by a person to become the member. If you want to become the member of a non-trading concern, you have to pay some initial amount, and that initial amount which is paid by you for becoming the member is called entrance fee. Now regarding this entrance fee, there are two arguments. In the sense, there are two opinions. Some of them, they say that it is a capital receipt because it is received only once. And they say being a capital receipt, we are going to treat as liability and thereby will add to capital fund. But some of them, they argue or they are in the opinion that we can treat it as income. We can treat it as income and we can show at income and expenditure account credit side. Now, sir, which opinion we are going to follow? Here, when the problem is silent, if there is no information given about entrance fee, if it is silent, simply they gave entrance fee, and if they are not mentioning anything, then we'll go for second opinion. We'll follow second opinion. But sometimes in the examination, they may say us to capitalize entrance fee. If they use the word capitalize, then we'll go for first opinion. Then comes life membership fee. Life membership fee and admission fee, there is a difference. That entrance fee is paid to become the member, whereas this life membership fee is a lump sum amount. A lump sum amount which is paid for becoming the life member. Once you pay the amount, throughout the life, till you die, you are the member of the firm. That is, you are the member of the non-trading concern. That is, Instead of paying the amount periodically, you pay the amount once, and that amount is called life membership fee. And being the life membership fee, we call it as, or we treat as, capital receipt. Always it is a capital receipt, and thereby we add to capital fund. In the sense, it is a liability. We are going to show it as a liability. Now here onwards, whenever I use the word capital fund, it means in the liability side, we are going to add that item to the capital, that is called capital fund. Then comes the next item called legacy. What do we mean by legacy? Legacy is the amount, or you can say property also, which is received in the form of donation, which is received in the form of donation by a non-trading concern as per the will of a deceased person. This is important. Will of a deceased person. What do you mean will of a deceased person? Will in the sense according to your desire. Okay, wasiyat what we call, willunama what we call. Okay, willnama what we call. According to that, when a person transfers his property in favor of non-trading concern, we call it as legacy. Now, what do we mean by deceased person? In the sense, a person who has expired. Okay, a person who dies, and if he writes the property in favor or in name of a non-trading concern, then we call that as legacy. And that legacy is also a capital receipt and will add to liabilities. On which side? On balance sheet liabilities side. Then comes donation. Donation is the amount which is voluntarily received from the outsiders. When a person, that is other than the member, if any outsider is contributing money, we call it as donation. And thus donations are of two types. One is general donation, specific donation. What do we mean by general donation? When the person is not mentioning any purpose of utilizing the money, we call it as general donation. And that general donation, again, there are two opinions. One, we can treat as income, as a revenue income, and some of them they say you can treat as capital income also. That all depends on the problem, how we are going to take. Then comes specific donation. Here, when I talk about specific donation, it is the amount which is given by the person, and while giving the money in the form of donation, he mentions the purpose. Say for example, some of them wants to construct a room in memory of their grandfather. So what they do, they give money and they say that this room is donated in memory of my grandfather. Like that, whenever you receive donation for a specific purpose, we call them as specific donations. And these donations are always capital receipts, and we'll show them in the liability. This can be a 5 marks question. Explain different types of donations. Then general donation and specific donation. Or sometimes in 2 marks we'll be asked to write about general donation or specific donation. Then comes the next called subscription. This is the amount which we receive periodically from the members. Every member, to retain his membership in the organization, has to pay every year certain amount of fees, which is called subscription. And subscription is a revenue receipt, and we'll show it as income. We'll show it as income. Then comes honorarium. Honorarium is an amount which is paid by a non-trading concern to a person. Okay, when you call a person and take some service from him, who is an outsider, he is not the member, and he gave some service to you, then if you give him some money as a token of appreciation for getting the services from him or her, we call it as honorarium. And honorarium is expression of gratitude. Okay, it is the expression of gratitude, and being as a gratitude we are paying, so we treat it as revenue payment and debit it to income and expenditure account. And then comes the next one called endowment fund. This endowment fund is a donation again. Please do keep in mind. And this donation is given by the donor, we can say, mentioning that whatever income we are going to get out of it, whatever income we are going to get out of that donation, it should be used for specific purpose. Such fund or such donation is called endowment fund, and that endowment fund is a liability. We treat it as liability. Now, in the next session, we are going to see about the first model where I am going to explain you about receipts and payments account. Okay, so have a nice day, everyone. I hope you all have understood the basic concepts. We'll meet in the next session with model number 1. Till the time, focus on the slides what were shown to you once again. Have a nice day. Have a great day. Thank you, dear students.